Motherfucker didn't make no noise, man.
All right, we are live. That's because you have to enter your along the top right. Hello?
Yep.
Somebody else calling me? What is this? Hold on one second. Let me see what this is calling me.
Motherfucker didn't make no noise, man.
You already are live. Joe. That's because you have to enter your Hello?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I had my volume turned up. My fault.
Poor thing. Poor thing.
I'm getting echo. I'm like, wait a minute, you said motherfucker didn't make no noise, man. And then it repeated. Make sure your volume is turned down on your YouTube, man.
Yes, sir. As soon as I get in here.
That is so funny. That is so funny. And we still got a
Mute
couple of
that.
minutes, but we are the mic is hot. So be a
Yes,
nice
sir.
be a
Yes,
nice
sir.
guy. Be a nice guy, man. Be a nice
Won't
guy.
be cussing nobody out.
Be a nice guy
Yep.
today, man. Mike is
Market ain't open yet. Go back to bed. Ain't that nothing? Mr. Bean, how are you? Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Bean can't afford to go back to bed, man. Mr. Bean was at work before we even turned over and got out of bed.
Yeah, he was.
uh, 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 uh. You see a nothing. I don't know why my thing did that. Yeah, we got about another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes to go. Another 10 minutes to go. So you say, what time was that you put off that trade at the end of yesterday, man?
Where is it? Make me go back into it. We had a long run after 600, after 1600 yesterday. They kept trading just to settle places.
I saw that. I'm like, wait a minute, are the markets closed? What's going on? I saw that, man.
1525 yesterday, 325.
Okay.
I was determined to wait on that one.
Yeah, they were trading like crazy after. But wait, now let me get this straight, because when I was at the brokerage firm, long time ago, the E-mini closed at 3:15. Is that still the case, or does it actually close at 4 o'clock?
I think it's 4:15, and then you have a settlement period. I thought that was 15 minutes, but evidently that runs until it's settled. Because yesterday they ran a long time.
Right.
Just in settlement after 4:15. 4:15 on the East Coast, of course.
So you said.
But I thought.
So you said 3:15 was a tunnel no tunnel trade for you.
325.
325.
Yeah.
Got it. I saw it went into the tunnel at 1451. Then it came back and dabbed again at 1456, and then you had a lower low at 325.27.
Yep.
Okay.
Order in 8 ticks from the bottom, 10 tick stop.
Right. Went on up like you got. First target.
Yeah,
how many ticks was your first target on that?
12 and 20.
12 and 20. Okay. Okay. Very good, young grasshopper. Very good. And let's see, where's my trade on the What time did we stop yesterday? That was about 12 noon.
It was close to 12 noon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I took a trade. I got a trade on Valtos right around 12 noon on the short side. Let me see if that was right.
It was almost immediate when we got off. There was a trade.
I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that was a 10-point run. Got in at 51.08 and hit the first target at 51.03 and a quarter, and got out at the runner at 5100 even and a half. So
Yep.
that was not a bad run at all. And I took that trade, and that was that price action divergence. Your favorite signal, the passive sellers accumulation
Passive
distribution.
sellers.
Yep. And the POC wave. All three of those in combination. And I said, you know what, there's a trade. And then that was right after we got offline. And I decided to take it because I knew the market it was falling, but let me get this straight. The Q was positive yesterday, but the market was falling. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Hmm.
The Q was positive, but the market was falling. So yeah, it was not a bad trade at all. It was not a bad trade at all. Yep. Okay, guys, we getting ready to pop it off here. I know I said 9:30, but I said, what the heck? I might have some technical difficulties, so let me get a head start. And of course, everything went along well with no problem.
Did
Uh,
you send Mr. Bean an email yet?
Man, I ain't messing with Mr. Bean today, man.
All right.
You weren't supposed to mention that, man.
You heard it here.
Oh man. Oh no, not yet, Mr. Bean. You weren't supposed to mention. I was trying to ignore him on that, man. We got let's see, we got reports coming out today. Heavy reports coming out today. We got 9:45. We got the final PMI. Final manufacturing PMI. Also 10 o'clock, ISM manufacturing PMI, and JOLTS job opens. So I will not be pulling the trade before 10 o'clock. Got manufacturing prices also. We got a whole lot of stuff popping at 10 o'clock. What are they keeping track with vehicles, Ward's total vehicle sales now? What's that? The total vehicle sales from all the brand new car dealerships?
Yeah, trying to figure out when we can have a cheaper car, man. Cars are going crazy. I'm looking for a truck and can't find one for less than 30,000. Doggone shame.
You can get a good used one.
Yeah. I was talking about a new truck. I'm saying, wow, at one point in time, you could find trucks, dime a dozen if you just wanted something utility.
Right.
But now your utility trucks are over 30 grand. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can get a good used truck. Yeah, they out
Yeah,
there.
I'm not trying to be the ranch holder or the ranch owner or nothing where I got this $100,000 truck.
Here's what you do.
Uh-oh.
Go find a guy that's getting ready to divorce his wife, and she has a ring over all of his stuff, and she's selling dirt cheap.
And she's a pissed one too. Find the most pissed off woman.
They're out there. Here's a story I don't think I ever told you the story. I don't know how true it was up in Chicago. This guy on the floor divorces his wife, right? And she gets half of his stuff in the court proceedings, right? So she decides to sell it in an auction. And what do you think the guys on the floor did? they went to the auction, bought all of his stuff from the auction, and gave it back to him.
Ah, ain't that Tweed?
Yeah.
That's called a lucky brother.
Yeah. So anyway, 9:29, market's getting ready to open. We got reports coming out all the way to 10 o'clock. Then we got the federal funds rate. Market is open now. E-mini. The E-mini is small range, but outside today. It has broken yesterday's low, but it's slightly up today. NASDAQ looks the same way on the daily. Dow futures basically looks the same way. And the bonds is up like a mug today. So, yep. That is it on the reports. Like I said, we got stuff coming out up until 10 o'clock. So, I don't think nothing's going to happen before 10 as far as us taking trades. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Do not hesitate in waiting for after reports. Because trying to trade during reports, a lot of times nothing good comes out of that. Nothing but emotions. Nothing but emotions. That's one emotional roller coaster you do not want to ride. Like Dan Aykroyd said in Trading Places, 1 minute your kids go to college, next minute nothing.
Well, it's about time you got here.
So yeah, that's be very careful in trading during report time, especially when the Fed funds rate. And you know, we used to sit through those reports at the firm I was at. We sitting up there with 2,000 and 3,000 T-bonds or a couple hundred, you know, S&Ps and 500. Back then you could trade the big S&P 500 and the E-mini. You had a choice back then. Oh man, those charts were wicked.
The E-mini was the micro.
The E-mini was the micro. Yep. And we used to sit there and ride that shit out, man.
And you didn't curse before you went to Chicago, man. You just came home with a dirty mouth.
Yeah, man. That's you catch that. That's contagious up there. that's the only thing they understand up there, man. You know, you'd be like, "What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you to enter an order as such and such?" Then you hang up on them and you cussing them out like crazy. Oh man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at FootPrint. I got TDU, Trade Devil's FootPrint on the left-hand side. I am running Mike Valto's FootPrint on the right-hand side. On my other screen, you have the footprint that Magic looks at, which is TDU, and he has his Bollinger Bands on him. Under the description, you can see where you can download both TDU footprints, but Magic's TDU footprint has a Bollinger Band or Bollinger Bands, and he calls those tunnels. You can download that template under the description. You can download that template under the description. Every once in a while, he's going to throw you a bone. He is putting together a video that you guys might want to purchase, and this is probably going to be 3 to 4 hours long based on how he trades those particular that particular indicator. So if you're interested in that, you can send him an email and let him know to step it up on his making of tutorial on his using his template.
You know, you just like that wife that she don't feel like she's gonna get this house unless her lazy husband, she makes her lazy husband get off his butt and go buy the house. That's where you are. You're putting me out there already. Yes, I am still developing that. Something I've always wanted to do, to give you some ideas of how I tend to look at Bollinger Bands and how I lay FootPrint on top of it. But dealing more with the bands, and you won't hear me say bands very much, but I do call them tunnels because of the way they look. And there are certain benefits to it that you could use or not use, but I think it's a very novel way of using the bands.
And no, we are not partners. Not that, like Jerry Seinfeld say, not there's anything wrong with it. Somebody sent me an email. I told you on my Baccarat channel, right? Somebody said, I said, no man, my trading partner, he does that, right? And he said, well, I'm not looking for a mate. That just goes to show you where the mindset is now, right? And I said, no, man. I said, no. When I say trading partner, I mean that's who I talk to every day when we're talking about trading or Baccarat or whatever the case might be. He thought we were actually partners. I found that so funny, man. I found that so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so you can download those templates. You can get the range bars. You can get the fair value gap also with those templates in case you guys are interested in those templates. Just so you know, I don't know what you people are using out there, and a lot of people come to the room because they're trying to get an idea on how to use the FootPrint, and that's what we're here for. We're not presenting a system, we're presenting an approach, and what you're seeing on screen is two different approaches. Okay, I have a certain approach, and I use my Cume, right? On this chart you see before you, this chart right here, this is my trade devil setup. I use my Cume, and that's the Cume delta, to determine whether I'm going to be taking long trades or short trades, along with this chart right here where I get sniper trades off of it every once in a while, right? And that particular chart helps me if I want to pull off a quick sniper trade. This particular chart helps me pull off a quick sniper trade. So yes, this is my setup for my trade devil, and you can download the template, and as we go along I will tell you what I'm looking for in a trade, whether I'm looking to go long or short. And right now my Cume threshold really, if and you know, for me to pull off a trade on FootPrint, and a lot of guys might not agree with this, but my Cume threshold is anywhere between 8,000 and 9,000. That's when it starts to catch my attention, whether it's plus 8,000 or more or minus 8,000 or more. If it's plus 8,000 or more, I'm only looking to take long trades. If it's minus 8,000 or more, and I'm talking about the Cume delta, I'm only looking to take short trades. But when it's dancing in between, it depends on the momentum. It depends on, I have what you call my trusty dusty, right? So my trusty dusty is, I call this my trusty dusty indicator. I'm looking at the Dow Jones. I'm seeing if the Dow Jones is up. I'm looking at the NASDAQ, and a lot of times I'm also looking at the VIX, right? Chester, you didn't invent the VIX. I invented the VIX, by the way. But anyway, though that's on my watch list. I'm looking at all of those at the where did my trusty dust go? I'm looking at all of those at the same time, and my eyes always glance over to those just to see you know, whether I'm going to be taking longs or shorts. So with that being said, you'll see how we compare numbers, how we're looking at numbers, how we go into the bars, whether we want to take a long or short, because just because you get a signal does not mean you hurry up and get in the trade. Just because you get in the signal does not mean you hurry up and get into the trade. Okay? Now, I have a demo account set up for each one of these. I have a demo account set up for each one of these, and I started the accounts at 15,000. So right now on my TDU, I'm at 16,024. On the Valtos demo, I'm at 14,845. And I'm just starting to get into the swing. Yesterday was actually my first real trade. The other, what made me go negative was I was testing, make sure everything was running all right. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna just leave it like it is. I want to see if I can crawl out the hole with his signals. So yesterday I did take a signal, and that was at took a short trade. For those of you who are just coming into the room, that was right around 12 noon. Let me go to that trade just so you guys get an idea of what I'm looking for on Valtos. Now, for those of you who are actually running the Valtos software, he has quite a few signals set up inside of his software. Uncheck all of those signals. Uncheck every last one of them, and this is how you do the setup. This is how you see if you're getting what you want out of the Valtos software. I unchecked all of them, and I check them one by one.
Well, it's about time you got here.
I check them one by one, and I'll go back in history, and you might have to do this on a weekend, right? But you load up like 10 days or however many days you want to load up. Of course, when the real-time data is not coming through, because your machine, not saying that your machine, but my machine, if I'm trying to do research and I got real-time data coming through on my Ninja Trader, chances are it will probably lock up on you. So wait till the weekend comes around, load up about 10 days, 15 days when you have no data coming through. And you load up each signal one by one, and you decide which signals you like to trade. I am using a 15R. I'm using a 15 range chart. So looking at the Valtos, I went through all of his signals right along with the PDF beside me. I understood what each signal did, and I decided which signals I'm going to use. I came to a conclusion I'm only using 7 signals. But here's a combination of 3 of those signals: the POC wave, the accumulation distribution, which is passive buyers and passive sellers, and price action divergence. Me and Magic call that a dead bar. Basically, you got a down bar and the delta is positive. Okay? And also, I have the option of, I'm using the 5-period swing. So anytime those signals come, I know it's coming on a 5-period swing. And this signal yesterday, very good trade, very good trade. I milked it as much as I could. I was in manual mode with it. And of course, I have my ATM. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But my ATM starts kicking in at a certain point. And I was able to get, my entry was 5108 based on this combination of signals right here. My entry was 5108. My first target was 3 1/4. And my runner ended up getting out at 5,100 and a half. So that gives you an idea of what I'm looking for with the Valtos thing. With my TDU, I might be looking at comparisons here, right? So on a comparison, let me break out my little toy here. So on the comparisons, I might be looking at the ask on the double tops. I might be looking at the deltas. And I'm always, if I'm looking to go short, the latter one, this one right here, always has to be lower than the one I'm comparing it to. You follow what I'm saying? this delta always has to be lower than the one I'm comparing to. And of course, this one isn't lower, which then, me and Magic was talking about this, that's when I resort to the cum delta. Notice this cum delta right here is 3178. But when it got to this bar, even though the delta was minus 21 and this is minus 112 right here, notice the cum dropped off. This is 2558. So we got a difference here of about what, 500 or 600 points, right? This is lower than this particular one right here. So, you know, it's little examples like that you'll see throughout the day, which you know, that's what I'm looking at. So that's how I do my comparisons with the footprint. And Mike B, yes, I do have a delta bar chart, but right now I'm so used to looking at the volume. I'm hooked, man. I'm sorry, I'm hooked. So that's how I look at my chart. Magic, he has something totally different. You want to explain to him how you're looking at your chart, Magic?
All kinds of ways. No, I'm basically looking at a lot of relationships in my Bollinger Bands and everything in between. So a lot of times I'm trying to play on the edges of the Bollinger Bands itself. So the last trade you just showed, I think, where you were, what did you have up there? Accumulation distribution at the top of this last run?
You talking about for
this
the
morning?
You talking about for the Valtos?
For Valtos, yeah.
Where is the last run I had? No,
let me just put it this way, make it real easy. The first thing this morning, we didn't get into the tunnels right around 9:35 where it turned around.
9:35 or 8:35?
9:35 Eastern.
Okay.
Right after the open, we pushed up. We didn't get into the tunnels,
right,
and we turned down. Well, on Valtos, I had price action divergence, which was kind of a setup that helped me even look even more to the short side. And by the fact that we could get into, when we first started, we could get into the tunnels. As we continued to push up, we couldn't get into the tunnels. Then we turn around, we break up, we have a POC wave to the downside. And after that, there's not much being said at that point. But again, not getting into the tunnels gave me an example of weakness, of some sort of exhaustion was going on, because these are deviations. So as long as I close on a tunnel above or below a tunnel, then I feel that there's still some strength. If it comes right back out, I'm looking at that as a pullback. But when I can't get into the tunnels, I look at that as weakness. So a lot of times you get at least a reaction back to the center. Sometimes your ultimate target may even be all the way down at the bottom tunnel. But a lot of this, you're looking to get at least back to center.
Explain to them what you mean when you say tunnels.
The tunnel itself, Bollinger Bands are deviations 2, 3 from center. So therefore, a lot of times I will set up Bollinger Bands to have 2 Bollinger Bands on the top and 2 Bollinger Bands on the bottom. Deviation of 2, deviation of 3. And they form a tunnel. It looks like a tunnel. So whenever prices get up in there and they close above the first one, it looks like prices are within a tunnel. And as long as those tunnels are pointed up, I'm still interested. On the bottom side, it's the same way. So between the tunnels, I call that everything in between. It's going to make me get out of this. But everything in between. So anytime I see prices running up to these tunnels and they close above it, I feel that we still have the strength. So a lot of the times when I'm using Bollinger Bands or tunnels, as I call them, I'm looking for the fact of whether we're closing above them or whether we're making new highs and not closing. So the biggest deal is when you're making a new high, I would expect to still see strength. We don't see strength in my mind. I'm not seeing strength if I'm running up to a new high and I can't close above these Bollinger Bands. and that dictates exhaustion for me. So what happens at that point, I start looking around. My antennas are going up. I'm looking for any footprint that will just constitute the fact that we're getting ready to go down. So a lot of times, your sniper, which is only valid when I'm below or above that moving average, your sniper will go off at the top, well out of the way where I've got a down bar, but upward delta. So again, another hint. To me, a lot of times when I see these setups, I'm looking for more clues than anything else, whether it be from footprint, whether it be from price action. All of the order flow signals at that point will be valid for me if I see a short signal. Yesterday, I pulled one off and ended up losing that trade. It's about a 75%. And immediately after we get offline, I was a little bit pissed about losing it, but at the same time, I actually pulled another trade off that happened the exact same way and ended up making 5 points on the run. And that happened around 325 yesterday.
Okay.
And that's, that was the last time I actually pulled off a tunnel, no tunnel trade. But then I was looking at it as you were talking, I actually saw this trade forming.
Hold on, man.
And
you say 325. I'm going to the 325 chart just so they get an example of what you're talking about. Okay? See if my marker works on this particular chart. Hold on 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Let me set this up. Oh, now it wants to work. Okay. Just so we can look at the 325. The 325 trade, you had a tunnel, no tunnel, right?
Right. It was a tunnel, no tunnel setup. Money.
Why is this thing acting? Bear with me for a second, man. This thing is real funny, very funny. All right.
Got my chart up there, man?
I got your chart up there.
So in essence, if you look at the bar that happened on 1450, this is where it all started.
And that's
we closed
1450. I got 1451 and 1456, correct?
12-hour chart.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last time we closed down below the Bollinger Bands.
Right.
We pulled out of the Bollinger Bands after playing around a little bit. We pulled out of the Bollinger Bands and we retested.
At 325.
And we retested again at 325, making a new low. Right. That's not, now what I'm looking for is the first push up, which was the next bar at 1525. Once I see that close, I will automatically take a 10-tick risk. I'm asking for 8 ticks from the bottom as a limit order, and I'm willing to risk 10 ticks on the trade. The reason I want to risk 10 ticks on the trade because I'm controlling my risk-reward ratio. So my first target is 12 and my last target is 20, which basically gives me a 1.3 as far as risk-reward ratio. So this trade happens over and over and over. It may happen once or twice in a day. Just be very, very careful when you're looking at it. It's something that you don't do a lot of thinking about. You just take the trade. And because the win-loss ratio is, like I said, right around 68 to 70%, those targets are very satisfying to me. A lot of times you'll see this move from, it goes to the center, which is right around these moving averages that I have. But a lot of times you'll see this run continue all the way to the top band again as an ultimate target. So it's just one of those anomalies that happen. and it gives you an idea of exhaustion happening in the market. It does not guarantee you're going to go in the opposite direction, but it does give you a 70% chance that it will go in the opposite direction. So that's pretty much, I wanted to show that trade at least to let you know that it does lose. That's the one you saw me, but it wins more than it loses. I saw one question here about the core period setting for the Bollinger Band. 30. I use a 30 rating with a 2 deviation. And then the very top and bottom Bollinger Bands, I use a 30 deviation with, I'm sorry, a 30 with a 3 deviation.
So
I hope that answers your question, Michael B.
The only things that change is the deviation.
Is the deviation itself, yes.
Okay.
Everything is 30.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. And let me remind you, these are patterns, whatever you see me do, besides the Valtos thing, whatever you see me do, the comparison or whatever you see Magic do on his Bollinger Bands, these are not systems. These are just approaches, and you can apply this to whatever you're looking at. You might be looking at crude. You might be looking at gold. You might be looking at the Euro futures, that is, not the Euro Forex, but the Euro futures, or whatever commodity you're looking at, the NASDAQ. But those numbers change. When I say numbers, I'm talking about the delta and the cum delta. Those numbers change when you change commodities. So you have to make the adjustments accordingly. Okay?
4 minutes before news.
So yeah, Magic's template is available for download under the description. How much time we got before news?
3 to 4 minutes left.
Okay. That 5-minute fair value gap is holding as resistance up there, where it held as resistance up there anyway. That's 55.25 up until 57.5 on the 5-minute fair value gap. Now, something I also want to say, and here's another comparison that we look at. We call this comparison acceleration, okay? On this particular chart you're looking at, you got minus 21, and then it goes to minus 456 on the delta. Okay, so that's a acceleration to the downside. Got a thin print, and you got multiple imbalances. And even though, I like to see and a ratio of 44, so you got exhaustion up there also. The ratio computation I'm using is according to the Mike Valtos ratio. So that's only time that ratio pops up is when there's exhaustion or defense. Okay. If you guys can hear me, let me know. Let me know everything is okay, because I think Mike B said my mic went quiet for a second.
Just wanted to throw something out there, because you're going to hear us use the word exhaustion a lot. Exhaustion and participation. If you think about it, that's what ends a trend and makes a new one begin. So that's the reason we tend to look for exhaustion over and over and over. Just signs of exhaustion and then signs of some sort of participation. I found that using FootPrint a lot, it's much, much easier to justify what participation is. And that's going to be different for all of you. Your thresholds are going to be a lot different based on the time frames you use, based on the range charts you use, based on what you're comfortable with. Top Step hems and haws about trades all the time when he sees a cumulative delta of somewhere around 5,000. But he doesn't hesitate if he sees a cumulative delta of 8,000, 9,000. He needs less criterion to take a trade because he already realizes that cumulative delta itself is going to create some sort of follow through because you have a preponderance of buyers or sellers. More time about that because we've had some odd days lately where cum delta was up and prices were going down. So that's not always etched in stone as well. Here comes the news. But we look a lot for the participation and some sort of exhaustion more than anything else, because it's nice to know that something may be ending before you get ready to think that you're going the other way.
Got a cum delta plus 1646. And we are falling. Trusty Dusty is even.
Good morning, Fly Guy, Salty Gravy. Welcome back. You didn't sneak. We saw you get in here. So right now, we're just kind of waiting for the smoke to clear after this news has come out, and we'll do some reacting at that point. At least you will, because I've got a couple appointments. I've got some auto assessments this morning.
I'll be right back.
You notice a lot of times on a footprint chart especially, you'll notice that you actually start losing a lot of numbers. It looks like naked bars almost because the trading is a lot thinner. Michael, I'm going to wait for my technical guy to get back, but I think I understand what you're saying. The last one on the list. My template does include TDU and KISS together, yes. You don't have to use the KISS, but it's the Bollinger Bands that happens to be on my template. I think that's how he set it up. So you may have to shed some of the stuff that's on there if you're not using it or if you don't have it. We'll get some clarification from Top Step when he gets back.
About what?
Michael was saying about my template seems to be pointing to TDU and KISS, and I was telling him that if he's not using KISS, he can shed that on the indicator list.
Yeah.
But it is my template, but it does include the Bollinger Bands.
Yes.
Okay.
Mike, what footprint are you using? You using the are you using Valto's footprint, or are you using TDU's footprint? I've been meaning to ask you that. Let's see what we're working with here. Starting to get into a sideways range. One way to get a good idea of what the market is doing, let's look at this real quick. Do not hesitate in drawing your range lines and your trend lines. You draw them. Don't let no program draw them for you. You draw them. You draw your own trend lines. Do not let an automatic program draw your trend lines in your range for you. That way, when you draw them, you get a better feel of exactly which way the market is going. Trending up, trending down, or is it trending sideways? So, right now, I'm looking at a inside of a range slightly to the downside because it's making lower highs and lower lows. So, and that gives you a good idea of, what the market is doing. And if you decide to pull a trade against the trend, you'll know if you're in a counter trade or not. So, yes, definitely practice drawing your own trend lines in your ranges.
Cumulative deltas pretty much returned to even.
Yep.
That's the way it's been most of the morning. Even. Your way is either way today. So far, we still have since the open we started trending down, but and we have a slight outside day to the downside. Let's see, we made a new low.
Yeah. On the daily, slightly down today. So, yes. But still the narrow range compared to yesterday. And sometimes, and I keep reiterating this, it does not hurt to sit on your hands if you see nothing. When in doubt, stay out. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you from experience. I didn't read that on no book. I had to learn that myself. When in doubt, stay out. You might be. I always say me and Matt used to mess with each other because I say, man, you fiending for action. You have to recognize that about yourself. Do you just want to see action, or are you actually trying to put on a trade? The psychology in trading, you got a lot to learn about yourself. You got a lot to learn about yourself. It's very hard to sit on your hands. Learn how to sit on your hands when you do not see a trade. Trust me on that. And then some of you guys are going to go, you're going to learn the hard way. They say the best teacher is experience. I can sit up here and preach that all day long, but the best experience or the best teacher is experience. But yeah, when in doubt, stay out. If you don't see a trade, sit on your hands. And what we're looking at right now on the FootPrint is I don't see much going on. Now, what I can say is I'm thinking it's kind of leaning toward to the downside. But there could be an argument. Somebody can come in and say, man, I see it rolling up. But, have set in your mind, at what point does it have to get to in order for you to react?
Now, that brings up another point about the bands itself. Another way to use these bands also is the fact that because we're running sideways, normally your bands are going to start flattening out on both sides as well. Normally when they flatten on both sides, they are creating the resistance and the support you're looking for. It's almost like you can sell the top, buy the bottom when you see bands in this type of format. It's a condition just like everything else. So be very aware that when they're going sideways, a lot of times you can take advantage of that, especially if you see that same kind of action go on a longer term chart and you have more room in between where it's a lot to run. So it's a lot of ways you can use this, which is why we never want to say anything is a system. It's always an approach. What you put in it to filter out or what you put in it to enhance your entries has more to do with your system. But your approach is just something that you're going to develop as you go along. Certain things you're going to see over and over and over, and your approach will be developed from that. One thing I will say about sayings, I learned a lot of these nice sayings about when in doubt, stay out, and whatever else comes up. I learned about most of those by actually going against them and say, oh, that's what he means. So, yeah, you tend to learn different ways as well. So, good luck with that.
You get that epiphany after a losing trade.
Yep. Don't touch it. It's hot. Oh, that's what he meant. No skin on my hand.
You just reminded me we're like 8 and 9 years old, and we're outside playing, and the neighbor pulls up with his motorcycle. It's like it's about 8 or 9 of us out there in the street playing, right? So when he pulls up on his motorcycle, I don't know why he looked at us and said what he said. He must know little kids. He said, "Don't touch that motorcycle pipe. It's hot." And what did we all bend down and do at the same time?
Hey,
We touched
the
that.
natural thing. Let's go get it.
Let's all bend down at the same time and touch this motorcycle. But here we are running down the alley to a puddle of water to dip our finger in a puddle of water. You don't know.
We've got an acceleration on the 12.
Right.
We've got plus 285. The last 3 bars we've gone here, we've got a plus 285, and from that on the pivot, we drop to minus 651. That's an acceleration move to the downside.
Now on your pivot on the 12, where you get the 285 from?
I got a plus 285 on my delta.
Do you? On the pivot?
On 1008. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. My fault. Your mistake.
It is your fault. Your mistake.
All right. So. Yeah,
all right. That's the first collective point there. So I got in on the second bar, 48 quarter. Took 10 ticks out. I took 10 instead of 12 because unfortunately, the bands were there. So I just figured I'd put a stop in, a target in there. So hopefully the runner makes up for the 2 ticks I didn't get out of this. Now my stop is moved to the top of the last bar.
Hey man, why you didn't give me those numbers, man? Why you didn't tell me to get in, man?
Man, when you're talking, I ain't got time to listen to you, man. I got to push the button.
All right.
But I was going to explain the acceleration either way, so.
Okay.
And that trade is over. So we ended up making 20 ticks on the first 2, and we gave back 3 ticks on the last. 17 ticks. And if any of you have traded long enough, I'm sure you've been clipped by a tick to see the price go in your direction. That happens to everybody. It's not just you. Although sometimes I think people have Top Step's face on their wall, throwing darts at it.
Very funny, very funny.
A lot of my bias is developed. I don't know if you don't have that MACD up there, do you?
Yes, I do. It's on the bottom.
Okay, well, it's hard to see, but a lot of my bias is developed through the MACD, being below 0 or above 0.
And right now
and
we
it
are
gives,
below 0.
And we are below 0, which is why the acceleration trade to the downside looked attractive. It also created a POC wave, which gave me a little confidence to jump in the trade as well. I forgot who it was asking me about the acceleration. For me, I really want to see acceleration to the downside. I really want to see a green number and then a red number to accelerate the downside. But I've kind of made that where I would at least accept double-digit red to red. But it at least gives me a better visual a lot of times when I'm not paying attention. I'll see a green number at a pivot, and then I see a nice above or below 500 or minus 600 in this particular case, which is enough to make me move. I think your action numbers are like 700 on the 15.
For what, the delta?
For you to move on a trade, actionable number. As far as the delta, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000.
Yeah. Well, you move on 1,000. For me, it's going to take 500 or more for me to
Oh, you
move.
talking about for acceleration? Yeah, about I'm
Yeah.
gonna say about 5 or 6. I like to see 600, 700. And here's a perfect example. Let's come to this. Let's come to the 15R for a split second. Uh, Here's exactly what he's talking about. Notice this right here, and he likes to see, and I like to see the same thing. Even though there's no delta in this bar or on top of this bar, because the volume wasn't greater than the last bar. That's the only time you're going to see that delta pop up on top of bars, when the volume is greater than the last bar. Okay? But the delta goes from 49 to minus 1046. That's acceleration. That's acceleration. From 49 to minus, when it goes from green to red and it's a big drop like that, that's what he's talking about when he's talking about acceleration. So
If you already had a setup that you like the shorts, this would be more of a confirming factor for you.
exactly. This alone itself for me is not enough to get in, but that's an example of acceleration, 49 to 1046. And add these or add this to what you're using. Don't stop what you're using. Put the footprint on top of what you're using and see if it complements what you're using first. Because obviously you're used to, whether you're looking at moving averages, the Bollinger Bands, the Keltner channels, the Stochastics, or whatever, that footprint is going to complement whatever you're using. This is just an approach. This is not a system. So you're going to come up with your own thing by the time everything is said and done.
And remember one other thing. Footprint is an indicator. It ain't a system. It ain't an approach by itself. It's another indicator.
Right. It's just giving you information that might be vital to you. You know, it's telling you, hey, we got buyers here, we got sellers here, and so forth. So that's something that's just like you can look at right here on this 15R. You might have been looking to get into a trade and notice this high up here, the ask was 159. And then when it got one tick higher, the ask is only 46. That's something to consider. That's when you're looking at the numbers. That's something to consider. But
that's like saying we just got up here in this area and we had 149 people that were interested. Now we get back in this area and we have only 50. You know, so that's the rationale in layman's terms of what you're looking at there.
Right.
Comparisons.
Exactly.
I mean, if you just look at a footprint chart and you see a lot of high volume numbers on the tops of bars, then you're probably getting down with pressure. If you see a lot of numbers bar after bar that are on the bottoms of the bars, then you're probably having upward pressure. I mean, those are just the little things that you might not pay attention to, and they might not be very important, but in the scheme of it all, it would be either supportive or non-supportive of what you're actually thinking in the market. So use that footprint to your advantage. Just take the information and put it on top of everything else and why you feel the way you feel about the market. Believe me, for every time you want to buy, I just called my buddy and told him to sell. So you're always going to have an opposition. In fact, I don't know too many trades that I've been in that I might have been a buyer that I couldn't justify some sort of a sell. Unless we were 20,000 in cumulative and the market went parabolic to the upside, you know, that's about the only time that everybody's doing the exact same thing because everybody's buying the ask. They're not waiting for any back ticks. But otherwise, if you want to short right now, for that matter, somebody's looking for a long. So you're going to have to be very committed to your decisions. Footprint is just one other thing to use to help that commitment.
Got a lower high right here, back to this plus 49. Now you have a lower high right here, minus 747. Yeah, but Look at that number right
Draw
there.
another box. You can keep that box drawn, really.
205 versus 46. That's not but you got the cum right here of 1569, and now you're looking at 176. So yeah, when you start looking into to those comparisons and stuff like that, even though this is 205 versus 46, you go down to the cum, you have less buyers now. And I'm looking at the cum. You might, like Magic said, he likes looking at his MACD, whatever you might be looking at for overbought, oversold, or whatever the case might be. There is something else this confirming what you're thinking about using to get in. So just a thought.
Yeah, folks, I'll be honest with you. You may find it a little bit dull, but I tend to use everything that probably, as they say, most household items. I don't use anything very fancy. I learned when we were making wheels out of rocks. So, I use a lot of the old school type of things, and they still work even in this day and age. So it's a matter of how you put them together more so than how you use one at a time. Because I just don't believe that you can use one thing and let it stand alone to be a profitable system. Very, very difficult to do. I'll never say it can't be done, but highly unlikely. You're trying to keep it simple, but you're also trying to get as much information as you possibly can. That's, it's kind of an oxymoron. I need all the information I can get, but let's keep this simple. Think about that.
And one other thing also, you guys keep this. If you have Valto's footprint with the wealth of information that he has on his videos, watch those videos, because you're going to have a whole lot of aha moments.
The second time, the third time, and the fourth time.
Right. And I'm not affiliated with TDU. I'm not doing affiliation with Mike Valtos. I'm just telling you guys, the information is with Valtos, but the footprint is with TDU. You got to do, if you're just trying to decide which one, which footprint you want to use, I favor TDU with the footprint, but when it comes to the information, Valtos has it. I call him the godfather of OrderFlow. So he has it. If that's for you guys that are trying to make your mind up. And just so happened I ended up buying Valtos before I bought TDU. Now, if I hadn't have bought Valtos first, I might be still a little lost as to what I want to do or how I want to learn it, or learn using that indicator. So I'm glad I did get Valtos first before I bought TDU, because once I switched over to TDU, I already knew what I wanted to see. I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I wanted to see. And then as he started adding stuff, I understood exactly where he was coming from.
Therein lies the difference, the educational aspect to a Valtos program. He forces you to learn it. And then once you really get a TDU, although I must say TDU is catching up on the educational end of this. That is, I will say, they tend to continually upgrade, give you beta, listen to your concerns, and really try to address your concern in a very, very quick manner, by the way. So as far as just the program in itself, that's why I do lean toward the TDU. But I fell into the same thing as Top Step. I bought Valtos and was very satisfied for quite some time because I felt like I was learning. What it forced me to do was look everywhere and learn to scan that chart in a way that I probably wouldn't be able to do it if I were just to have the TDU, because everything is so much more automatic. But you have to know what you want in order for something to be automatic. But Valtos forced me to look inside these bars, forced me to look and understand what a single print was at the bottoms and the tops of the bars. And believe me, you tend to learn not to look as much in the middle of these bars as you do at the bottom left and the top right, which is where your ultimate bid and ask would be. Everything in between does matter in that you're looking for imbalances. How much imbalance do you have? You have a downward bias based on something else, and then you see a lot of selling imbalances in a bar. That's a hint. That's a clue. Maybe enough to even get you over the hump where you'll take a short. So all of this can be used, but I would suggest to you to make sure you get the educational aspect of the footprint, which is why we're here, at least to point out certain things that we've picked up over the years when it comes to the footprint chart. An easier way to look at it sometimes, maybe even displaying certain things that you might be able to use right away in your own trading, certain things of that nature. To me, footprint is a necessity now. It's not just an extra tool or an extra gadget. I put that on everything.
That's funny. That's funny. That is funny.
We appreciate that, Mike, to put that out. That would be very helpful to anybody that's following this channel.
We are currently sideways range right now. Still in a sideways market. Still in a sideways market. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? No question is too dumb. No question is too dumb. We are in a sideways range right now. And as you can see, I'm just extending my range. I'm just extending my range indicator. And I am leaning. I am starting to really lean down towards the downside right now. And the QM delta is minus, a little minus couple hundred, 200-300 right now. So I am leaning towards the downside right now. I'm looking for a short. Notice it is not getting above this fair value gap. It's not getting below that 50.46 either. which is where I have my range set up. I can probably stretch that out a little bit. I do have a sniper here to the downside. Not feeling it though, because it's trapped inside of a range. Do have a sniper here to the downside. But I'm not feeling it though because of this range that it's trapped inside of. Yeah, Chester. Look like we're going to be sideways action waiting for the FOMC or the FMOC. FMOC is definitely, we got a report coming out at 2 o'clock. And this is what the market usually does on a day like this. So if you are trading, Fed funds rate, if you are trading, be out before the report comes out, definitely. And Magic, your bands are 3 o'clock, correct? He might be having mic problems.
Sorry about that. They bounced twice off the bottom, and now they're looks like it's coming down off the top one at this point. So yeah, we're straight across.
Right, right.
You squeeze that together, what's that? The 15 or the 12 you're looking, but yeah, the 12 has bounced twice, and this is the third time we visited up here. Well, the first time we visited up here since sideways action. So we're going to see if we can actually see if it's going to be a push to the downside. It's kind of why I was encouraging you to go ahead and take that sniper.
You saw that sniper, huh? I'm not feeling that sniper, man. We're in sideways range. But see, you like sideways action, so I can understand you wanting to take that trade. He's talking about this sniper trade right here. Anybody who's not familiar with the sniper trade, we got a moving average on the Cume Delta. Moving average on the Cume Delta. The Cume Delta closed up with a green bar, but the bar closed down, red bar. So when you see that trade pop up, that's usually, and of course the Cume Delta has to be below the moving average for a short trade. And for a long trade, the bar has to be green with a red delta above the moving average. So yes, this is a sniper trade right now, but I'm not quite feeling it because of the market action right now, which is sideways.
And that's kind of my flavor there, being at the top of the range.
Right.
Hitting Bollinger Band, you've got an automatic stopping area.
Uh-huh.
So, that's a difference in philosophy, folks. That's all that is. He hates sideways.
Can't stand
I'm licking my lips when I see sideways.
Yeah, this is Magic's kind of action right here.
Now understand, it's not about making a whole lot at one time on these trades either. You can't just think you're going to extend it. You've got a stopping point at this, so you need hard targets when you deal with something like this.
So yeah, this is the perfect time to talk about discipline and sitting on your hands. This is it. This is it right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. sitting on your hands. Nothing is going on. Now, if we go to a smaller time frame, you might get something. You might get a total different look of what's going on. Even a 2,000 tick chart is sideways right now, and I do keep my eye on a 2,000 tick every once in a while. I have a 2,000 tick chart running. Not a 2,000 tick. Yeah, 2,000 tick chart running on the side that I just kind of like keep up with. So.
You really got the same flavor on every chart, though. If you think about it, it's sideways everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
So you really got to develop something that would sell the tops and buy the bottoms. If you have the conviction that again, if you don't like that and it doesn't fit you personally, leave it alone. But that means you have to learn to be sitting on your hands as well for a condition like this. And it just so happens that about 60% of the days that you see are going to be similar to this. Because normally out of a trending day, you may get 30% of your days. That's about it, where everything's just going one way. Every pullback means buy. So that's the rarity of it. But that's when most of us make the best money. So if you save yourself for that 30% of the time, you'd be a rich man. Most of us can't wait for that 30% of the time. That's the issue. Learn yourself personally.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we do here. We've got a 5-minute zone, a Bollinger Band, all in the same area. That's a lot of resistance. See what happens on the footprint. Let's see if we start seeing some buyers get into this and push this a little bit to get through, or do we see some exhaustion when we get here? Again, this is if you like shorts.
I got to make your ratio a little bit more bigger, and I notice your ratios are not in bold numbers on your chart. I'm gonna make them a tad bit bigger, make them stand out a little bit more.
Something else that may give you a real hint about your market condition. It sounds kind of strange, but if you look across, as far as your volume is concerned, and you're seeing kind of dilapidated numbers, 1,000, 3,000, 2,000, you're barely getting a lot of volume on most of your bars, and that's also an indication of a dead market. I think we've got one spike since 9:30 over 10,000. Take that back. 3 spikes over 10,000, which is kind of a dead market.
It is. I see on your 12-hour, I see 12,600 at 1024.
Right, and then nothing since 9:30.
And 940, you got 10,004. And yeah, you got about 4 spikes. That's it. So yeah, it's
Normally on a busy day, you're going to see those spikes come through. Every 4 or 5 bars, bam. Every 4 or 5 bars, they push, or they're turning, one or the other. So this also gives you, some cause to pause more or less as far as trying to catch a runner. You may find some very nice scalps in this. I think you mentioned earlier about going to a smaller time frame. Same thing happens on a smaller time frame, folks. Don't act like you can't go down there. I understand why you wouldn't want to, but a lot of times in markets like this, you may be wanting, instead of the 12 tick targets, you may want to go for a 10 tick runner. which which doesn't sound like much, but hey, learn to make 10 ticks, all right? And you will find yourself a very happy person. Don't go for 10 ticks when you have a 25 tick stop, though. That's not going to work out most of the time. Everything is relative. All right, we haven't gotten any rejections up here yet. Going back inside yesterday's action.
Anybody out there in FootPrint land got any questions? Do not hesitate to ask us. You know, the templates and anything that you might want to download or that you're interested in your charts, the templates are available on the under the description.
Prices are moving up slightly and cumulative delta is moving down. We're going up on some air.
Dow cashes, and one thing I have noticed, when the Dow is going one way and the NASDAQ is going another, that's a recipe for a disaster. When you're looking to take a trade and you're not getting follow through. These are things that I've noticed. You might get something different, but things that I've noticed when the NASDAQ cash and the Dow are going in opposite directions. Like right now on the Dow cash, we're up 42 and down 69 or down 70 on the NASDAQ. And a lot of times markets are basically, I say the markets are confused. They don't know which way to go. So be very careful in taking your trades. And on the daily, notice on the daily bar, we got a very narrow range compared to yesterday. So this is
You want to call that a range at all?
Yeah, that definitely. The volatility is not there today. So be very careful in taking your trades. Not unless you go down to a 6R, a 6 range, or a 5 range, or 100 tick. My man Elliot, I think he uses like a 10 tick, 15 tick. He's a real scalper. So yeah, that's just some of the things you got to pay attention to when you're looking to get in trades. Days like today, I unless something comes up drastic, well, I'm not going to say that now because the cum delta is minus 2200. But when something comes up drastic, unless something comes up drastic, I can see me sitting on my hands the rest of the day.
Yeah, I told you, man, you got to look at these flips at the bands, man. You got to look at the flips going on at the bands, man. Sideways day. I'm going to get him into these bad boys one way or another. He's going to become a believer. Yeah, I've actually got a plus 26 going into the band, and then it got rejected at a minus 71. That's a typical flip, but it's not the high of the day.
Minus 571, yes.
What did I say?
Minus 71, man.
Yeah, 571, 71, all the same. It's minus. But yeah, as I was saying, we're getting up in the bands and all of a sudden we get this rejection again. So we would expect at least a move back to the center if nothing else. Again, that's putting reference of FootPrint on top of Bollinger Bands. And that's all it is.
And we're just sitting here shooting the breeze. We're just sitting here talking. So and we're just trying to help a lot of people who are letting the FootPrint chart intimidate them. We're hoping that you know, by looking at this channel, you become accustomed to looking at certain things on the footprint, and you become comfortable for what you're looking at and what you're using. And we're just shooting ideas out there. That's it. There's no system, nothing like that going on here. We're just shooting ideas of ways to getting in. And at some point, we will start tackling the ATM. But at this point, we're just talking about entry signals that we see that we use personally to get in the market. That's why I say, if you got any questions, Morgan, you're late to class, man. You got a note. You got a note.
Not the one you signed. Not the one you signed. No.
You got a doctor's excuse for coming late, man. But anyway, yeah, we're just shooting ideas back and forth, because this is what me and Magic do all day anyway. So I just decided, hey man, let's go up on YouTube and, you know, put together a little thing together where we just shooting ideas back and forth. And a lot of you guys will learn from this. You will get something from this, whether it is to be or not to be. That is the question.
Yeah, you got the 2B trade going on?
No 2B.
I call that trade Shakespeare.
no 2B right now. And also notice that sniper we were talking about, no good. I knew it was no good because of the way the market is going right now. I like to see,
man, that sniper ain't over, man. You didn't hit the pivot.
Yeah, no, dude, we passed the pivot. We passed the pivot. That stop it always goes above or below the action bar. So that high on that bar is 54 3/4. Yep, we're done. It traded past that.
You should have been selling it at the bands anyway, man. That's the problem. I'd say 2 beans. You've got a 5-minute zone up here, correct? Fair value gap zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, having a real hard time up here.
Yes, very hard time. Very hard time, young man.
This is starting to look a little bit tempting, my man.
For short side?
For the short side, yeah.
I got to see some bigger delta numbers, though.
That's what I'm trying to get right now, yeah.
I need to see some bigger delta numbers. We got minus 571 on the 15R up at the last time this pivot went into the zone. I got to see some bigger numbers, and we are minus 2,000 on the cum, so I don't know. Be nice if Valtos, we get something on the Valtos chart up here. I'm gonna call it my 3-bar combination signals on the Valtos chart. Be nice if we get something up there. At least I can put on a trade and watch something happen. Now, with that bar going into that tunnel on that 12R, this bar at 1040, if this bar right here, example, if this bar right here closes outside the tunnel, is that tunnel no tunnel?
No, it's not a new high.
It's not a new high, right. My fault, your mistake. It's not a new high. So it would have to make a new high, but still close outside the tunnel.
Yes.
Okay. Just getting things straight.
Normally, unless tunnels are going sideways like they are, normally when you close to the other side of that tunnel, it dictates that there is some strength there. And what you're really looking for is a pullback to go long again. Because the bands are going sideways, it's a different condition all the way around. So I'm not looking for pullbacks to go. So in this case, yeah, every time we get up to the bands, it's an opportunity that, depending on what kind of criterion you have, it's a selling opportunity at this point until proven differently. I always tell a couple of people that I've dealt with before, the reason is there to short. You short until you're proven differently. And right now, I mean, if you look at the levels that we've been here 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th time up here as far as a resistance factor. 9:43, 10 o'clock, just now 10:40, and here we're back again. So this area has been rejected several times. Setting up a Morgan K trade. Morgan K, which side do you like? You normally got a pretty much committed side as far as longs and shorts. And notice, we're not just blowing through this. It's, even if we were to struggle and make new highs, I would be very suspect right now. Just not blowing through it like we got a lot of buyers that want to go someplace. You're going to be a rich man today, Morgan K, if you're on the sideline.
Ed Morgan, that's exactly what I've been talking about. Just sit on your hands. Patience is a virtue, I've always been told. Good things come to those who wait. Slow roll is a sure roll.
There you go with another one of those sayings.
Slow roll is a sure roll.
You realize that saying came out of a casino, not a market, right?
This is somewhat of a casino. You betting
Man.
the market go up or down. Sure.
When I play Baccarat, I'm just playing the fact that it's 50-50. It's not an educated guess. Not quite like this.
For those of you guys, by the way, this is a good time to push my other channel, which I haven't made a video in about a year, but I actually related how to chart a Baccarat table now compared to looking at charts here.
Based on price structure.
Based on price structure. And it's Baccarat Edge. That's the name of the channel, the Baccarat Edge. Haven't done a video in about a year. And I do need to do a video just to update that. But I dropped so much in those videos that I did do on the Baccarat Edge. Any of you guys who play Baccarat might be interested in that. I just got a new way of charting the Baccarat table instead of the regular traditional way. So there's definitely something there.
Little interesting. And Morgan, I do. I've been short a couple of times this morning already. So yeah, I'm pretty much done probably. I'm supposed to be gone on an appointment. Speaking of the devil. Yeah, I got to get out of here soon. But I've been short a couple of times this morning. And yeah, ranges have really intrigued me, and today's no different.
We are definitely sideways.
This bar, this area has taken about 3 minutes or more to make one bar. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to have to leave you all this morning. It's been great. I've got a couple of appointments I've got to attend, but
Go
hopefully
get that elbow
all of
grease
you.
in, man. Go put that elbow grease in, man.
I don't work hard, man. I just work long. All right? I don't
we'll
work hard.
we'll sit here and take some trades. You go get that elbow grease in, man.
So either way, hopefully everybody has a great trading day. I'm out.
So we are definitely in the sideways range today. I have TDU running on my left hand side, which we're in the sideways range. You can see the range lines that I've drawn. And you have Valto's chart running on the right hand side, which is, and I said this earlier, be very careful about just because you're getting signals doesn't mean you take the trade. Draw your range lines and see if that market is ranging, see if it's trending, and see if you want to take some trades, because really what you want to see is you want to see these trades come at V turns. This is a V turn right here. This is a delta. This is a delta breakout. One of Mike Valto's signals came out right around 940. This is a swing right here, but I don't trade doing reports. So basically, you can see what the market has turned into. The market has just turned into some sideways action. So I'm going to see what's going to happen here, and I'll be online for about another 30 minutes. See if we get any action beforehand. Most likely we won't. Most likely we will not get any trades. But this is the Valto's chart. This is the Valto's chart. I'm looking at price action divergence. I am also looking at accumulation distribution signal. I'm looking at the POC wave. He has another signal in there called retail sucks. Let me see if it says it. I see a retail sucks on here. This bright green, that's retail sucks. And delta breakout. But I do not trade, and I would recommend to you guys, if you see a report getting ready to come out, it can get tempting sometime. Wait till after the report and wait till everything calms down. That's probably your best bet. That is probably your best bet. Now, there is one footprint that I'm definitely watching that I got from this guy is over in the UK, and he has some interesting things going on here with his footprint. He has buy and sell. I call them power meters. Sell power meters, buy power meters at the top and bottom of his bars. He also has a measurement in this footprint with the momentum, the cum delta momentum. And as you can see, the momentum right now on the current bar is plus 15 or plus 1400 to the upside. So I'm kind of like getting used to looking at this chart and seeing which signals are good and which signals are not. But this is a very interesting footprint this guy has put out. If I'm not mistaken, it's PJS Smith.UK or something like that. So it's definitely something. So if it's something that you guys want to look at, these are more for the advanced people because this guy is not good with. He's okay, but he's not good with instructions and so forth like that. You got to kind of like know what you're looking for, and know what you want out of this particular footprint. Yeah, for somebody like you, Michael B, this guy is his footprint might be of interest to you because he gives some pretty good buy and sell signals based on what he's looking for. He developed this footprint chart based on what he likes to see, and he has a cumulative delta momentum, and you can set those bars to whatever you want. And I have my cumulative delta momentum 1 and 2. My 1 is set at 3 bars, and my cumulative delta momentum number 2 is set at 5 bars. So I'm looking at an average of 3 bars and 5 bars. Okay? And then you can look at the delta. And I did send him an email one time. He said he was going to correct it because his cum delta doesn't reset at the beginning of every session. It's accumulation of what you have loaded on your charts. So, other than that, I got kind of, I adjusted to it, but I kind of like resetting my cum delta at the beginning of every session. Just gives you a good idea of who's in charge that day. And that's how I look at the cum. I look at the cum as, who's in charge that particular day. Are buyers in charge or are sellers in charge? So, yeah, this particular footprint, I like everything he's doing. And doesn't charge much. I think he charged like $185 or something like that. He doesn't charge much, but it's very interesting in what he's doing and what he's using to look at footprint with. This is his own personal thing. If I'm not mistaken, I get the impression that he's managing money also. So this is his footprint, and I think he's a programmer, if I'm not mistaken also. So this is his footprint, and he programmed on his footprint according to what he likes to see. So I am looking at this footprint on the side, just paying attention to the times it's given buy and sell and so forth like that. So yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's a footprint. Let me look up his website real quick for you. Look up his website for you real quick. He's on Discord too, Mike. He's definitely on Discord. Let me look that up for you real quick. That's his website, Mike. I just posted it for you. That's his website. Yeah, Morgan. He has some interesting ideas, and I follow him. I definitely follow him, and I thought before his footprint disappears or before it gets more expensive and he starts to make some real changes for it, I thought I would go ahead and get it out the way. Even though the way it is now, I like with the way it is now, he did say he was going to make a change to his Cume Delta once he on his next upgrade. And that 5-minute zone has disappeared. 5-minute zone has disappeared. Starting to break out of this range also. We had a Cume Delta minus 3,300 now. I would like to see a sniper trade pop up right about now. This would not be a bad all-in, all-out sniper trade. Would not be a bad idea. This would not be a bad idea for a sniper trade to the short side. Don't let me miss it, Morgan. Do not let me miss a sniper trade. I am on a 15R on the sniper trade. Now, one thing I do want to say, any other time, I would be looking at this minus 689 to minus 571. But since we're, there's no volatility here, we're definitely in a range. Even though we're at the top of the range, this is Magic's kind of thing. I'm going to leave it alone. Not quite feeling the short trade right now, especially since we got a report coming out at 2 o'clock. Because you can get caught up in the trade and it can take an hour or so just to get down to your target or up to your target. So that's one thing I've noticed about the trades on FMOC day. Got a delta breakout to the downside on Mike Balto's chart. So now we got a big acceleration. I can hear voices now saying, make sure to take that trade. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'm just not feeling comfortable. Not feeling comfortable. But that is a nice delta. Minus 1219, minus 689. Yeah, could have got a scalp out of there, and it's probably going to go right down here to this to the support level at the bottom of this range also. Let's see what happens here. Got a signal on the Valtos, got a delta breakout on the Valtos. One thing, when you see signals, One thing I learned, you cannot hesitate. You cannot hesitate. When you see a signal, if you feeling it, take it. The parameters of the delta breakout, if I'm not mistaken, is just 2 down bars with the delta lower than the last delta. But I don't know the percentage because I'm pretty sure he has some type of calculation between those deltas that he likes to see, other than the delta just being lower than the last bar. So yeah, that's it, and it's fairly easy. But like I said, other than it coming out on a swing, 5-period swing, which I have that set as default, the delta of this bar is lower than the delta of this bar, and you can see it minus 1219 versus minus 689, and it's at the top of the Bollinger Bands, by the way. Magic's kind of trade. If I'm not mistaken, he's running Valtos too, but I think he's running it on a 12. Yeah, even though I see runs like this, even though I see runs like this, I will not take it on when the market is acting the way it's acting. It's not, the market just isn't volatile enough. I know I missed a trade, but yes, that is a very good trade. You go from minus 689 to minus 1219. Yes, Magic will tell you I jump on stuff like that all the time, but today I'm not quite feeling it. I don't feel bad about not taking it. Only after I see it run down about 10 points will I start to feel bad. Which it is ready to, it is doing right now. We say that was a value average high? Yes. Magic says there's a 12 range. See, he can't get away from the chart. He's supposed to be at an appointment. Magic said there's a 12 range. There's a price action divergence on the 12-hour chart on that particular trade on the 12-hour. Yes, down to the whole number 50, which is a good target price. Yes. We are starting to dump on the QM Delta now. We're minus 5,600 on the QM Delta now. And the bottom band, by the way, is what we at, 45 and a quarter on the bottom band. So yeah, not a bad trade at all. Not a bad trade at all. Now, one thing I did mention, let me show you guys something on this TDU. A lot of times, you know, you'll get signals or you'll get your strike that pops up on the 4th and 5th bar. When that signal comes, I like to see these signals within the first 2 bars. Maybe the 3rd bar. You'll get it a lot in the 3rd bar. When it comes on the 4th bar, that's another trade I won't take. That's 4 bars in already. 4 bars, and my goal was these first 2 bars right here. So that's signals that come in on the 4th bar, I don't mess with them. You know, I had the, hey, Morgan, I had the volume profiles in the bars. Nah, it makes my chart looks too busy. Makes my chart look too busy. I do have a template with the volume profiles, but nah, it made my chart look too busy. So you got so Morgan, you must have a volume profile running in your bars also. And I'm assuming you're only on 15 range, correct? Yeah, this particular bar right here is probably going to give a signal, but it's already 4 bars in. Might run into some support there, and it's not that much meat on the bone, seeing as though we're coming down to the bottom of the range. You said you color them from the dominant delta. I'm gonna try that. That might Morgan. That might be what I'm missing. I'll give that a try this weekend. See what it looks like. Got a delta of minus 1,024. Got a dead bar, 286. Looks like we are starting to fall. The Dow cash is plus 66, with the NASDAQ being minus 133. Very narrow range, very narrow trading range today compared to the daily. No, you know, Mike, we were trying to, me and Magic were trying to set that up. We haven't figured out a way to set that up yet. I wish we could, because I think about that. Magic says that a lot, that he wants to show you guys his charts also, but I'm gonna have to figure out a way. And for some reason, I tried sharing charts with OBS. I know Discord to do it, but Discord, they're going to charge you for high resolution. So yeah, there's no way to share pictures or charts on this. I wish we could. You know, I thought about Mike. I thought about using Zoom, but I didn't want to. You know, then you're kind of that's more of like a private session thing, and you kind of like block out the people who just want to stick to YouTube. I've thought about that. I have thought about that, but I didn't want to narrow the range as far as the people that I'm attracting right now. So, you know, and it's a free class, so yeah, I thought about Zoom. Price action divergence with passive buyers on accumulation distribution on Valto's chart. To the upside, that is. To the upside. Not looking to take any long trades right now. I'm not anyway. But that's what that alert was. Hey Morgan, here's another trade that and it basically came the same time the other signal came on the sniper. Not feeling too comfortable about after a run down about going short, but there's a sniper trade right there. Down bar, positive Kuma, Cum delta. Yeah, there's a sniper trade right there. And a lot of times, you know, when you take these trades, all you want is 1 or 2 bars to follow through. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's almost a 5-point run. So even if you'd have got 3 points out of that, that's good. But I don't like coming in 3 and 4 bars later on those kind of trades. I'd rather have it after 3 up or 4 up or something like that. But you know, even though it looks good right now, I don't care for those. Yep. And notice this bar right here. Once we got this signal, we got 2 more bars down. And now it's hooking back up. So yeah, be very careful on taking those trades. Whatever signal you're using, you might not be looking at the same signals I'm looking at, but whatever signals you're using, be very careful coming in on the 3rd and 4th bar. 3rd bar, I might question it, but the 4th bar, I don't do it. Magic won't. I don't think Magic does it beyond the 2nd bar. I don't even think he likes the 3rd bar. So yes, be very, very careful about that. Getting a little pullback here. Let's go to the profile. Looking at this profile chart, yeah. Once I I'm gonna have to spend about 2-3 days on this PJS profile chart and really just concentrate on this profile chart so I'll know exactly what I want to see with this particular footprint, because I like it very much. I just haven't spent a lot of time with it. I pick little things out here and there, but I'm definitely going to spend. And when I say 2-3 days, I'm just going to look at it. This is the only thing I'm going to pay attention to for about 2 or 3 trading days, and see what kind of signals I pick out of it. Because I'm noticing little nuances here and there about where to go long, where to go short, and so forth like that. But I want to make sure, and then I want to go back in history and see and pay attention to what's popping up at the top of these bars and what's popping down at the bottom of these bars when I'm seeing those little nuances. So yeah, that was a real nice short trade there. Real nice short trade. Might get a sniper coming up here. Morgan. Might get a sniper coming up here. Let's see. Got a 2 green bar pullback. But like I said, I don't count my eggs. I don't count my chickens before the eggs hatch. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to see a sniper trade here. That might not be a bad trade to the downside. Not quite filling the long side. The Cume Delta is minus 5,000 and some change. We got a POC wave here with a price action divergence and passive buyers. 3-bar combination, but for me, it's on the wrong side. Not filling the counter trade right now. And recognize whatever you're using for your bias, recognize when you are taking a counter trade. You have to know that. All right, Mike. Catch you later, bro. Yeah, recognize when you are taking a counter trade. Also, on the Cume Delta chart, that's a trade on the wrong side. If this Cume Delta was on the opposite side of this moving average, maybe, maybe I might consider that. But since that Cume Delta is not on the opposite side of this, on the top side of this moving average, I can't take that trade. But that's the condition for a long side. Up bar, red Cume on the top side of the moving average. That's conditioned for a long trade. I know, man. I know, Morgan. It's the bottom of the range. I know, but it's still to me it's still a counter trade, man. Whole lot has to be going on for me to take a counter trade. Whole lot has to be going on for me to take a counter trade. But yeah, and yeah, Morgan, I know you say your cumulative is green there. Yeah, but that's a think about it, that's actually a doji. That's a close call. So I can understand you getting plus a couple more ticks to make your bar green right there. Yep. I can understand that because that's basically a doji. That is a doji. But it's red, so if I get color out of it, yeah. But yeah, I can definitely understand your bar being green at that spot. Yep, Chester. Chester, the VIX is flat. Yep, not much going on. Not much going on. I'm trying to see if we get something before 12 noon. I think I'm going to call it today right around 12 noon. That's Eastern time, 12 noon Eastern time. I know yesterday as soon as I got off, I caught a trade on the Valtos chart. I don't know, Chester. We're going to find out, though. They trying to bamboozle people thinking they're going to cut the rates. We're going to find out. I personally don't think the rates will be cut, but who am I to say? Slowly grinding back up to the top. And you know what, Morgan? You're probably right. This probably, days like today is probably the best day to trade ranges. I just won't mess with them now. I'd rather sit aside. You say, boy, you're going to keep your 6 points and watch. Right. Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly. And one thing you guys might want to do, you know, at the end of the day, like I will start taking this into consideration. You know, at the end of the day, go over your charts, make your marks, so you'll know where you made your mistakes and how you can make it better. Because if I really had to take a trade, I mean, look at the cum. We're already minus. Look at the big jump in the cum. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm it's starting to dawn on me what I missed out on. You know, min delta went from 714 to minus 714 to minus 1219. The max delta even got smaller compared to the last bar, and it went from the max was only 58. That min delta went all the way. It closed on the min, and it was at the top of the range. Yes, that was a mistrade. That was definitely a mistrade. That was definitely a mistrade. Winner or loser, that was a mistrade. Go over your charts, go over your signals for the day. You know, pay attention to where you could have taken the trade, and is it consistent with you, what you are thinking at that time? Because it's easy to go back and say, yeah, I would have took this trade, or yeah, I would have took that trade. But what frame of mind was you in? And I had doubts about this trade, but I just wasn't sure. And it was obvious. It was so obvious. Like I say, when you take a trade, you got hundreds of things on your mind. Hundreds of things on your mind. Yeah, you're right, Morgan. At the time that trade was popping, I just wasn't feeling it. Any other time, I probably would have taken it. But because of the reports coming out today and as slow as the market is trading, I felt justified not taking it. But I got a little regrets now that I see it didn't ran down. How many points? Yeah. Nine and a half points, and that's just from the POC down to the bottom. You probably could have got about 3 or 4 points out of that, realistically. So yeah, that's something that just got to be wary of. Anybody who took that trade, good trade though. Yeah, Morgan, I had to stick to my plan because I don't know if I told you, you get burned more times than not. You will get burned. But sometimes you look back on the trade, I could have took that trade. You start whining about how many points it moved. But yeah, you will probably get burned more times than not if you don't stick to your plan. You got another FootPrint stream? Who? Who's streaming right now on FootPrint? Other than me. You might have Futures Flow. I think he does his stuff inside the Discord room, private Discord room now. I don't know who else is doing FootPrint right now. Not on YouTube anyway. Trading in demand. Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out. This is almost a short right here. Got exhaustion, closing on the min. Even though this minus 695 is lower than this or higher than this minus 1219, I kind of like this. He who hesitates gets left behind. Got falling delta. Got a POC wave on Valtos with a ratio exhaustion up there. I'm gonna put that in the demo. Put that trade in the demo account. See what happens here. I don't like those. Those stops are big, but You know, only thing I like about this is when you get in on the third bar, sometimes you have to go to that pivot. You have to trade the chart. That's what I don't like about this particular 3-bar combination. Let's see what happens here though. This is a POC wave with a ratio. I kind of like to see that price action divergence up there. Went to the market, got filled at 50-50 even. Lows of the day. Bring that runner down to the lows of the day. So if it starts to go down, at least I can milk the trade a little bit. Come on, push it on down, push it on down. I'm asking for 18 ticks on the first target. Be a plus 225 to the account, and on the last target, I'm asking for 49 ticks. Let's see if we can get down to 45.5 on this trade. I don't know. This is support too. This is definitely support down in here. Definitely support down in here. Morgan say, I'm calling friends. Yeah, man, put the word out. I don't know if you realize it. That's insider trading. Yeah, then found support down here in this area. It's almost not enough meat on the bone. If there was some meat on the bone, I would feel a tad bit more comfortable with that. Hello?
Yes, sir. You guys still going for it, huh?
Yeah, man, I just got into a Valtos trade.
I suggest you be out by 46 then.
Just got into a Valtos trade.
Where you get in at?
50 even. One of them
Oh,
round
I can help you to 46. That's about the best I can do from what I'm looking at. Very good, very good.
Hello.
Let me see.
What indicator is that puts the value on the stop and target? Oh, you know what? I found that for free, man. I meant to post that this morning, Radar. I found that for free. I am going to post that. I like that the way it does. Puts the value in the ticks along with your trade. I will post that. I will post that. Hey man, if you're not going to push this market down, man, and Magic, if you're not going to push this market down, I really don't need you right now.
I told you I can get you to 46 at best. That's as far as I can take you, all right? You're on your own after that.
Yeah, this was actually a POC wave and a ratio. I kind of wanted to see that price action divergence on top of that POC wave.
Yeah, I walked in. I said, "Wow, they still on." But I saw this flip up here. I got a 2246 going in and a minus 707 coming out.
Yeah.
Finishing on the min with a ratio. Wow. Yes. Not a bad catalyst.
Yeah, we can get down. You get me down to 45 and a half. I'll be okay.
No. I said 46, bro. You're on your own after 46.
I'm almost tempted to take these 2 points here. I'm almost tempted to take these 2 points here. What do you think, Radar? Not Radar, Morgan. What do you think? Come on, man. Be quick. Be quick with the answers now.
I don't want to scare you. I tell you to look at the 12-hour and look at the bands, but I'm sure you'd be a little afraid.
I'm up 8 ticks on the trade, man.
Not enough, bro. Not enough. Not enough. They definitely set you up with a stop, though.
Oh, we got another IB person is looking at the IB. Is that the low? Road Trader, is that where we're looking to go? Are we looking to go to the low?
Salty said, "Take the money." I'm giving you 46, man. Everybody got an opinion on this one. Glad I'm not in.
Yeah, Road Trader, 44 and a half is the initial balance low. I'm gonna move this up just a tad bit for you guys. I'm gonna move it up just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Oh, now you got me chasing it. All right, now we're gonna come down to break even plus 1 tick on the last contract. Plus 2 ticks.
Still accelerating.
So we're in a free trade now. Yeah, Morgan, I did that for you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring that trade. I'm gonna bring it down to a flip. If the bar flips back over, then I'll get out. And I'm gonna play the greed game. I'm gonna move this target out the way. Let's see what we can milk out of this trade. I'm trailing Emmanuel by the flip of the bar. So if the bar flips, I'll just get stopped out. No, Road Trader, I'm not looking to buy. Don't put that on me right now, man. Don't do that now. If the bar flips, I'm out. I'm in at 50 even. My stop is at 46 and a half. So I got 15 ticks locked in on this trade. Yeah, I thought this Road Trader, I thought this was a pretty good indicator because I don't know why NinjaTrader doesn't have that inside of their ATM stuff or their chart trading stuff, but I thought this was a pretty good indicator. It tells you how much you make on that particular contract and how much you make or lose on that particular contract, wherever that marker is on your stop. All right, done deal. Done deal. That was a $366 trade there on Avalto's ratio POC wave. Now, one thing I did notice about this POC wave, it has to be in combination with something else. It has to be in combination with something else. I like to see it with the accumulation distribution and the price action divergence. Now, when all three of those come, you're good. You're good. I like that trade. Even if you lose, I kind of think the hyper percentage on those trades are very high. But when a POC wave comes by itself, or when matter of fact, when any other signal comes by itself, I'm a little questionable. But this was about the same time I took that trade yesterday and ended up making some money on that trade. So yeah, that was a 366.64 after commissions on that trade. You really want me to? You really want me to read that, Morgan? Let me see. Let's go to that real quick. Accumulation distribution. Analyze the order flow in a bar to determine if there's accumulation bullish, distribution bearish order flow being traded in a bar. There's an extra filter called passive traders in control that find instances when strong bidders, bullish, or offers bearish are present in the accumulation or distribution that is taking place. I like that signal. I think Magic likes that signal too.
Yep. That didn't tell Morgan much though, as far as calculation.
Yeah, and that was the PDF that we got from Baltos.
Well, I do know if you put it on a swing filter, though, it tends to give you
very
quite accurate signals.
Yes, very, very accurate signals.
In conjunction with others, but yeah, put it on the swing. Sometimes, you know, I like to know how something is calculated as well, but sometimes if it works, it works, and you say, all right, just gonna have to do the research on it myself.
But, you know, one thing I do want to say, you know, I'm taking these trades in accordance to my bias. Your bias has a lot to do with when you push that button. Okay? So just because you get a signal does not mean you're going to make money and it's going to go your way, because, you know, I see a buy signal down here. I see a sell signal up here. And yes, these are very good signals. But yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I saw a lot of chop. I saw a lot of chop on these signals. So definitely pay attention to the signals and take them into context of what the market is doing or what you feel the market is doing at the time, and see if you can get in sync that way with the signals.
Bruce Lee. Be the signal.
Right. Be water, my friend. So yeah, this trade was signal at the close of this third bar right here on this POC wave ratio. Even though the ratio did it on this bar, on this pivot, I don't take trades on ratios alone. Something has to be in combination with it. So a POC wave is a 3-bar combination. So at the end of this 3-bar combination, that's when you saw me get in and take that trade.
I was just, that's the one, okay, that's where you were. I'm just walking into this, but I probably wouldn't have taken that one. It never got to an area of location I would have liked. And I think I would have been short on that.
I'm going to tell you why Magic wouldn't have taken that trade. He doesn't like V trades.
V turns.
He does not like V turns the same way I don't like sideways action. For some reason, I think we're going to have to take him to a psychiatrist and whatnot, but he doesn't like V trades. I love V trades. I love V trades. So yeah, this was the second trade I took on Valtos, whatchamacallit. Now you can see right here, here's a passive trade or accumulation distribution that just went off to the upside, and a potential POC wave. If this bar closes to the upside at 49, it's going to take the bar to close at 49 and a quarter. That's why I have these bar markers here. These range bar markers are included with the download of the range bars. And it's going to be under the folder NS. So it's an indicator you put on your, after you change your bars to a range bar, which is NS range, then you put the bar marker on there. And there's always one tick above or one tick below that mark is where you want is where you want that to go in order for that bar marker to change. That's where the bar closes, to the downside or to the upside. And as we were discussing earlier, yes, Valtos has some very good signals popping off in his OrderFlow program. So if you're interested, give him a call. You will also get one hell of an education. That's what comes with his software. Yeah, Morgan, I do use the, no, I don't use the Delta filter, but I do use the swing filter. I haven't tried it with the Delta signal yet, but I kind of remember doing that a while ago. This was probably about a year or so ago. And the Delta filter actually filters out a lot of trades. That's why I don't like using, but I'm gonna have to go back and try it again and see if I see a difference with that. Very good signal on that. Very good signal on that short trade though. Very good signal. And now you see the POC wave has completed with passive buyers, but with us being at -8,300 now on the Q, nah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'll wait for another.
Not about how many.
I'll wait for another bus to come along.
Yeah, not about how many.
Yeah, and notice also is going up into a fair value gap, and that fair value gap is set at 5 minutes. And a lot of times, let's go back and look at Salty. I think that's Salty asking about the TDU footprint. Let's look at that. Yeah, TDU footprint, you got min-max, you got exhaustion up there with the ratio, you got falling delta. And I don't know if you remember, I was talking about this, but I wasn't feeling comfortable. And then the Valtos signal came through, and that's when I took the trade. So sometimes you might need something to confirm what you have doubts about. Sometimes you might need something else to confirm what you have doubts about. So yeah, I had doubts about that, but when this bar completed, that was a completion on the Valtos with the POC wave, and I guess I just have a little bit more confidence in the POC wave than what I was seeing, and that's what me and Magic be talking about when you're looking at TDU. You have to know what you're looking for. You got to know what you want. Whereas Valtos, hey, this is a POC wave. It's more visual with Valtos signals than it is just looking at numbers with the Trade Devil's footprint, which I have no problem looking at Trade Devil's footprint. It's just that Valtos POC wave, I say, POC wave with a ratio, boom. And notice his ratio is 31, the same as my ratio on TDU, 31. And if for you guys who don't have the ratio calculation, you can, I think I posted it on one of my other videos, the formula for the ratio.